Have you had that last minute scramble? The moment where your client, your buyer was about to close, maybe they're a couple of days away, and then at the very end, they find out that they can't qualify, and they can't qualify for the most absurd reason. It's because they're suddenly making too much money. This happens a lot when it comes to USDA or down payment assistance loans that are specifically for people that make under a certain amount of income. Hi, I'm Charlotte Harrill. This is your daily Jumpstart here on Recharging with Champions, and I'm going to give you some ideas for marketing. And this week we are talking about down payment assistance and income-based loan programs. So let's talk about a story. Today is Monday, so we're going to give a memory. This is a good time to do a reel or just tell the story, and I've got a graphic already made. If you want to steal the graphic in our just below, go to the toolkit. You're more than welcome to do that. I'm going to tell you my story, and it might jog a memory of one that you've had that's very similar that you can tell and really inform borrowers the importance of, if they're qualifying for one of these income-driven loan options, something that you can't be over an income limit. It's very important not to change your income in the middle of your loan approval. So here is my story, and it happens pretty regularly because it's what people think they need to do, right? I had these borrowers, and they are the most wonderful, sweet first-time home buyers. They were getting a USDA loan. I'm in Kentucky, and that's where I sit, so we do have a lot of USDA in our market. And they were getting a USDA loan, and they were right there at the tip of the maximum income that the household could make. And right when we get their final paycheck stubs, it was like a week before closing, we get their last paycheck stub, and the borrower had went to their boss and said, "Hey, I need to save up some extra money. Any extra overtime you can give me this week, I want it." So he literally doubled his overtime that week from what he would normally do. He normally worked very little overtime, but he got in there and he worked like 11 hours of overtime on this check. It was like 10 and a half, 11 hours. It was a lot. So when we get that check and we average in that overtime into the average, it actually put their income limit just over what was available or what was allowable with USDA. It was heartbreaking because we're at this end and now we have to scramble. We have to find a different loan program that's going to work for them, or they have to go find 3.5% down, which if we were doing a USDA zero money down, that's probably not in their cards, right? So thank goodness in this situation, the sellers, we let them know what was going on. I took a really long, deep dive at the paycheck stubs. And I'm like, listen, if you just go back to what you normally work for the next paycheck stub and don't work any extra overtime, you'll go back to being just underneath that limit. And we made it work. And the sellers were gracious. We let them see that everything was done minus they just made too much money and he had to stop working so much, bless his heart. So we were able to get that closed. We just had to delay closing about 3 weeks, 2 weeks to get some work in there without the overtime and then the paycheck stubs. So that is something that happens regularly to people that are right there on that edge. So it's a good conversation to have with your lender. Lenders, we know that we always like to tell our borrowers, don't change anything. We say this a million times, but really realtors and lenders can reiterate, if you're doing a USDA or a state bond loan, some type of a mortgage that requires you to be under an income limit, even the 3%, there's some 3% programs that need you to be under the area median income. Say that 3 times fast. It's very important that you don't change your loan, your income habits while you're in the middle of that, which means don't get a raise. I've literally had people have to say, no, don't give me that raise. It's going to mess up my mortgage, things like that. So it's just important that you come and you have those open conversations and you don't change anything in your income for your move while you're in that mortgage process. So that's my story. Obviously, I've had that happen a couple of times. We've had people get raises in the middle of a process, especially now that we've got this long time between qualification and buying because the houses, there aren't as many out there for first-time home buyers. So it's taking longer for them to find a house. So we really have to coach them up. And this is something that you can share with your sphere, share with your client base, share with your first-time home buyers. A great story that maybe has a happy ending, but also gives the warning that they want to make sure they're staying underneath that income limit. This is your daily Jumpstart. There is marketing toolkits in the toolkit for today. You've got a graphic. You've got some words you can just copy and paste if you want to make it really simple. Or hey, there's even a little graphic that you can just add your video to if you want to make this a reel. I challenge you to make a video today and connect with your clients. I hope you do some great marketing and we'll see you tomorrow.